Like most bikers, when I watched you and Charlie ride the long way around, I said to myself, wow, one day I'd love to do something like that. And then I went to the bike show and I chatted to Globebusters about their Pan American trip and came away equally inspired. And then I came across this poem by Goethe when he said, "Rest not, life is sweeping by. Go and dare before you die. Something mighty and sublime leave behind to conquer time." So on June 13th, 2010, armed with only a rudimentary knowledge of bike mechanics and enough Spanish to order beer, I flew my bike to Anchorage and set off on my epic adventure down the Pan American Highway. There's my bike being shipped so I can uncrate it. The job is done. There's the debris. And there's my little beauty. Hurrah! We're here, one piece. It's 8:30 in the morning and here I am on the Dalton Highway. There's nobody around for miles and miles and miles. It's me. So my plan was to head north up the Dalton Highway to Dead Horse in Prudhoe Bay, dip my toe in the Arctic Ocean, turn round and head due south for Argentina. Attigan Pass. The Dalton Highway is one of the most isolated roads in the US and the most northern highway in Alaska. It's basically 414 miles of dirt and gravel and considered extremely dangerous. It was made famous on TV by the Ice Road Truckers program. Latitude 66 degrees 33 minutes. Reach the Arctic Circle. I've been riding for about 5 hours now and boy, it's bleak out here, my god. Nothing. New roommate, Austin, tell everybody how good the ride was today.
It was miserable. Don't ever ride north of Coldfoot. Stop at Coldfoot, turn around, go home.
So you're not coming again?
Not to Prudhoe Bay, no way.
Okay, I gotta make sure I get this. So, let's see here.
Having done the hard bit and done 407 miles of the 414 of the Dalton Highway, I had a slight accident with only 7 miles to go.
Grizzly bears are even faster than a horse. If you put a grizzly bear on a racetrack with an Olympic athlete, even an athlete on some high-tech performance enhancers, they're still going to end up eating grizzly dust every single time.
My weapon of choice, bear deterrent. The idea is, you know, if you see a bear coming, you flick that, you stand there, hold it and spray it, and that chases them away. This is Watson Lake, famous because it's got all these signs from all over the world. And the pink hot rod. Wave to the folks back home. I'll see you later. Here in the middle of the Rocky Mountains. Okay, so let's get back on the road. Look at that for a backdrop. Wow. Fantastic. Beautiful place.
finally made it to San Ramon, where I'm here with Paul, who is a jet mechanic. That's Paul, who was so kindly offered to help me work on this bike and get it ship shape for Mexico. Wednesday the 28th of July, and I've been wending my way down the Pacific Coast Highway 101, and I've reached the beautiful little town of Carmel in California. I've just wandered down here to the beach looking for Clint Eastwood, but he's not around at the moment. Being Clint Eastwood territory. He was the mayor of Carmel for quite a few years. He still lives here apparently and owns several properties and a bar in town called the Hog's Breath Inn. I'm going to do the touristy stuff, and I'm going to go and have a beer in the Hog's Breath Inn, and I'll probably have a Dirty Harry burger, because this is a lesson to learn. And very important when you're riding, keep your visor down, because something just flew into my visor and stung me. Be a wasp or somewhere on board or something. Bloody hurts. Well, I won't be doing that again in a hurry, believe it. But this is the queue for the barbecue. It's about 20 miles long, look. So here we are in Bakersfield, on top of the most expensive hotel in the city, and it's steaming hot, about low 90 degrees, and I'm with my couch surfing friends. I'm just come out for a beer, and this is Carl. Say hello, Carl. Hello. And there's Francine, and Andre.
Hi. Cheers.
And Maria. We're now at the races at Del Mar. I've no idea why I'm here, but I just turned up in San Diego with my couch surfing new family here. There's Sally, there's Alan, and there's Alexis, who's a guru. And we're down here for the races. And the horses are coming past any minute now. No idea what's going on. I'm just along for the beach at Carlsbad with Tony and Claire, and Claire's off for a morning run. And yes, go off. Mr. T. Whittle, say hello. Cooking 2 steaks. Look at that. I've only just arrived in town very recently, and already have found a new best friend. So, what do you think of the journey so far? She's not very talkative at this time of day. She will loosen up after a few drinks, I think. The view is spectacular, and I'm just hanging onto this tree here because it's a long way down there. You can't get a scale of this thing on camera, but it is quite breathtaking. So I finally made it to Phoenix, and here's the amazing Bill, who's helped me sort out the problem with the horn. So this is the original town of Goldfield. This is pretty much how it was in the old days. Off the Apache Trail tours, which is an impressive sight over there. That's Superstition Mountain.
That's for our friendship.
This is where it actually happened. Where they fell.
Buenos días.
Buenos días, ¿cuándo va?
No entiendo, mi español no es muy bueno.
Made it into Mexico, into the town of Moctezuma, and this is my hotel, Hotel San Antonio. Finally arrived in the little town of Yacora. I've been riding for about 5 hours and found my nice little hotel, Las Brisas. So let me just show you around this beautiful little place I've got. That's a restaurant. It doesn't look like it's open. This is the courtyard. No air conditioning. This is like a fan blowing away. There's no internet here, there's no Wi-Fi, so I better go and try and find some Wi-Fi connection. Copper Canyon is much bigger than the Grand Canyon, and yet not many people know about this place. Right, I'm now in Leon with my new couchsurfing friend Luis.
Hello.
And Luis insists that this place we're here, we get this food here and it's free as long as we drink lots of beer. It doesn't cost any money. Is that right? Right. I can't believe it. Just arrived in the beautiful, quaint town of San Miguel de Allende. finally made it to Mexico City, or Ciudad de Mexico, and Gary met me, and this is Gary. Sitting on the pyramid of the moon. The temperatures of the Mayans predated the Aztecs. And at this height, this city had about nearly 100,000 people. Tonight is a 200-year celebration of the independence of Mexico and the revolution. It's crazy, it's like a foam party. We're now eating a traditional Mexican dish.
Pozole.
The town of Oaxaca, after 6 hours on the road from Mexico City. Aztecs were an amazingly advanced race, and they created what people think is an observatory. They were more advanced than Copernicus and Galileo. After riding for 6 hours, back-breaking, sweaty, mountainous, twisty road riding, where I didn't stop even for petrol, I've now arrived in Puerto Angel. First time I've been on the beach since I've been in Mexico. It's like a small stream. So we're at the Guatemala border trying to process our paperwork, and we've been told that because of all the rain there's a roadblock and it's impassable. Well, welcome to the rainy season in Guatemala. I am sick and tired of the rain every day. It rained all yesterday, and as a consequence, we're just completely stuck here. So we're downtown in Antigua. We're back to my hotel. There's nothing like having a view of your local volcano as you're having breakfast.
My intended short stay in Antigua turned out to be 5 weeks, as I trapped my sciatic nerve in my bike, which uncovered a long-standing problem which I didn't know I had, which was spondylolisthesis. So with physios and doctor's orders, I had to get myself fit enough to get back on the bike, otherwise my whole journey was in jeopardy.
Top of Temple 4, this isn't it? Temple 4, completely knackered. This is the view, it's pretty steep. Another roadblock. Nowhere. We're going nowhere. Now in San Ignacio, Belize, crossed the border yesterday, and found this interesting hotel called Nefri's Retreat.
After digging in the whole thing and all your wiring in there, you basically burned out a relay. There it is. You need one of those.
Going. Is it good? Is it sorted? Oh, your man's a genius.
I know, that's why I married him.
This is Mrs. Mad Dog.
I'm Debbie. I am Mrs. Mad Dog.
Mrs. Mad Dog.
I don't know what that makes me though. I'm not sure that's a good thing.
This little relay,
Yeah.
it controls your horn and your headlight. It was fried, of course.
I just want to know because I gave my tab. Hold on right now because say hello.
The beach at La Libertad, not very pretty. But then again, the town's not very pretty either. Honduras border, and it's unbelievable. It's paper shuffling just for the sake of it, charging you money, taking you across to get copies, triple copies of everything. So here I'm at the Nicaraguan border. I'm just getting my insurance from this lovely lady here, and I'm practicing my Spanish on this lovely lady here. To Nicaragua, and our first night in Leon, and we're in a hostel. Yes, I finally come to this square in Leon. You know, they've got the old colonial buildings there. We've reached Granada, and we've checked into the Bearded Monkey. Yes, the Bearded Monkey hostel. This is my luxurious room with a few stains on the bed. A bit like a cell, really. And there's the bikes, into the courtyard, there's the women doing washing. Sunset over San Juan. Here at the Aduana, Costa Rica, we're pushing pole to post as usual. This should be the last step that they use it. Back in Costa Rica, in a little surf town of Yaco. Country. This is trying to get the Libertad of Panama. This is Norman, Stormy. This is his e-bike commune. Oh, this is it. This is like Apocalypse Now. This monkey will not get off my arm. Just arrived in Panama City Hostel, Mamayenas, and this is my dorm. Goes like like a school. That's mine down there. Everything's out of order. And in Panama, you have to come and see the Panama Canal because, well, it's there. Down here at Rica in Panama, ready to ship the bike to Bogota. What I've done, I've loaded it up, put my smelly, dirty gear on it. Hope it's going to get there in one piece. I arrived in Bogota, Colombia, and checked into my hostel yesterday, and as it stands at the moment I feel like death warmed up. I've got some kind of chest infection, so I have to get some antibiotics, and I just feel like shit at the moment. Well, the bikes have finally arrived in Bogota, apparently. Oh mate, it's here, the bike is here. And they've broken screen. So I managed to find Auto Germana, BMW dealership in Bogota. This is Enrique. Hola Enrique. He's going to do the oil change, air filter change for me by tomorrow, which is Christmas Eve, hopefully. and then I'm good to go to Ecuador. This is Bogota, Christmas Eve, and everything's shut. We're trying to find something to eat. To know of it. Christmas Day here in Colombia, on the way from Bogota to Cali, and they're roasting some kind of pig here. Maybe it's a tradition. At the border crossing with from Colombia to Ecuador, I've done the immigration, so I've got my passport stamped. So all I need to do is process the bike. So here I have my aduana piece of paper, my importation for the bike. So I'm now legal on the roads of Ecuador. The 12th country, Ecuador. I've ridden from the Arctic Ocean and I'm just about to cross the real equator. Well, this is it. Feels kind of emotional, really. I think I've ridden from the Arctic Ocean to the equator. This is Yaniv. We've just met on the road to Quito. His girlfriend has had a bit of a fall on the dirt and broken her clutch lever. So I've just dug into my pack, new and I, the spare one.
Why just save that? Because to get these clutch levers is almost impossible because all the bikes here are small bikes.
No problem. Look, it'll get you to Quito anyway. No problem.
Thank you very, very much.
It's my pleasure. Negotiated my way around Quito and managed to find the Casa Enclada de Guapolo. Hola. This is our first morning in the apartment overlooking Quito. We're so high up, there's clouds surrounding us. It's day morning, and here we are in our usual spot, our cappuccino spot here, coffee spot. New Year's Day, about 9 o'clock in the morning. Didn't have much sleep because, as you can hear in the background, this infernal racket has been going on since 9 o'clock last night, and it's somewhere down there. Arrived in the little colonial town of Popayan on Boxing Day, and it was really quiet and nothing happening. Today, everybody's out busy shopping. Obviously, a mandatory llama. Things must come to an end. I was just raving about how great the roads are in Ecuador, and I ended up on this under construction, I think they call it. It's I don't know, about 7 in the morning. Just rolled up to the front of this queue, and nobody's going anywhere for at least half an hour, maybe an hour. And apparently the road all the way to the coast is this dirt road. Christmas in Colombia, New Year in Ecuador, and now it's the 9th of this January, and I'm in Peru, in a little town called... The view from the top of my hotel. Impressive, eh?
Hay que tratar de bajar su velocidad. Acá tiene que correr acá nomás, 40. Viene acá 60. Hay que bajar su velocidad. Son urbanas. Hay paneles.
Lo que yo no sé. ¿Qué cámara para mi viaje?
¿Qué cosa es? ¿Qué cosa es eso? Este acá. Este que tiene acá.
Esta es el límite 60 máximo. Está viendo 88. Yo veo por esto. 88 lo han marcado ahí. Para que pague money. Tiene que pagar.
So I managed to pick up 2 tyres this morning and brought them to the BMW garage, and they also had a chain and sprocket set, which they're currently working on right now. That's the bike. Just arrived in the little town of Pisco. which I'm sure will be nice when it's finished. And it's really mad hot here. Doing some major reconstruction of the roads. Just set off this morning from Pisco. Something just snapped, and I think I've got a problem with my chain, and I've no idea what it is. I'm pretty much stuck here at the moment. So I've identified what the problem is. Over here, or the chain, it's just snapped off. Currently, I've no idea what to do. These the tuk-tuk drivers brought me to a Honda dealer to see whether they've got a part, but it obviously won't be the same. There's no way I can ride any distance on that. That's all part of the journey, isn't it? And this is the nice tuk-tuk driver who's helping me. Gracias. Lift up my bike with a man who said you can fix it. They've been working for 3 hours and they've fixed my bike. They've fashioned out of stronger metal an end clamp to the chain. Taken the front cover from the front sprocket off, and you wouldn't believe this, but there's no nut. There should be a huge nut on that. So the BMW garage in Lima didn't put it back on. That's unbelievable. That's outrageous. No wonder I got a problem with the chain. That's crazy. And that's a huge nut. So he's put the nut on the front, he's fixed that there. Now he's checking the rear sprocket, and he said that the mechanics in Lima did a really bad job on this. Just arrived in Nazca about half an hour ago. Checked into my hostel, and as with the last couple of places I've been to, you've actually got to request a toilet seat, which I've just asked them to fix because I just prefer it that way. Just stopped for a break on the road to Arequipa. Oh, I've been riding for hours and hours across the desert roads. Sand dunes on one side. Beautiful, calm Pacific Ocean on the other side. I arrived in the historical centre of Arequipa this morning, and a local wedding going on. Oh, and he's the happy couple. This is what you get when you order a cappuccino in Iquique. I left Iquique this morning on my way to Antofagasta, but it's quite a long ride, so after 140 miles I thought this would be a place to stop. Tocopedia, which is a kind of small, relatively small town, but it's more of an industrial fishing port really, and to be honest it smells like it too. But it's a bed for the night, albeit an expensive one, $30. Chile is not cheap. Let's just see what we can get for $30 in Chile. Exquisite carpets. This is it. $30 a night. I'm now crossing the Atacama Desert, which is officially the driest place on earth. I don't know about driest, but it's certainly the coldest desert I've passed. Drier than the Sahara, I believe. I'm on the way to Antofagasta, and we've ground to a halt here because apparently there's some bicycle race. But there's a big, long queue down there, which I've just come to the front of, and we'll see how long. it's going to take, but everybody's... I'm now in the little town of El Calera, which is just a few, I don't know, 100 kilometres this side of the Argentine border, and I've just checked into a hotel, which has to be the scuzziest place I've ever stayed in. There's a padlock on the door. It's like, reminds me of the Shawshank Redemption. Pretty grotty. 7,000 pesos a night, I suppose I can't complain. Just got my paperwork stamped officially, so I'm now in Argentina. A year of planning, 7 and a bit months in execution. I finally reached my goal. I finally got to Argentina. Fantastic. Now I need to get to Mendoza and get a hotel. I'm here in Mendoza. It's beer o'clock. It's still early, but beer o'clock for me. It's a really nice place. Nice chilled atmosphere. So I've just settled down with my beer, my glass of good Argentine red wine. All is well with the world. Last night in Mendoza, so I'm treating myself to a steak and half a bottle of wine. Yum, yum. Just arrived in San Antonio de Rica. Your name is?
Santiago.
Santiago.
I'm a fan of Oscar.
Oscar.
Santiago's father.
Oscar and Santiago. We just bumped into on this corner. I'm trying to find a hotel.
I will find it for you.
Yeah.
And we admire you.
Yes.
For your courage.
Santiago and Paula's fantastic house. I've been invited as a guest with all these amazing people.
Brian is our special guest tonight.
Fantastic. Cheers, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. Cheers. Just made it to Buenos Aires, arrived here at Dakar Motors. My hotel I found in the center of Buenos Aires. It's cheap but functional. And it's really central, right down in the middle of the pedestrian area. Welcome to Argentina, home of the tango. A typical night in downtown Buenos Aires, street theatre. Welcome to my hotel in Buenos Aires. It's pretty basic. Let's have a look. This has got a fan. There we go. Oh God, it's hot, it's sticky in here. It's so hot and humid. This is my last night, so everything's perfect. Made it to the airport after a much longer ride than I expected. I'm running out of petrol fast, and I'm parked here, and I'm waiting for somebody called Ariel, who's supposed to meet me here to help me get the bike processed for export, customs and all that kind of stuff. But nobody's around at the moment, so I guess I'll just have to wait here until somebody shows up. I'm here at the terminal, cargo terminal. The bike is almost ready for being crated. It's on the pallets. I've taken the screen and wing mirrors off. They've lowered the tyre pressure. I haven't disconnected the battery. I hope I can get away with that. But now I'm just waiting for customs to come and check it. How long that's going to be, who knows? This is South America. It happens when it happens.
So that was it, folks. The end of my adventure. 15 countries, 20,000 miles, 8 months in the saddle, back problems, but I've finally completed it. Alaska to Argentina.